Hello, welcome to the Adventure Corner. I'm Robot Spacer. Hello, Culinary Disaster. Good to see you. I almost made a special little weekend edition graphic to go under the title because I feel like these bonus streams have a different vibe and I should be upfront about that. But I started making one and I was like, this is silly. I should just go do the stream. But I've turned off all rewards that require me to do anything. And I will simply poke around in World Builder. We haven't even booted up the computer yet.
Thanks.
So, thank you, Culinary. So I haven't even figured out what I'm going to work on here. Let's actually go ahead and look at what we got right now. Got back from Costco just in time. Pizza and supplies get nice. We had pizza. Yes, was that yesterday? We had pizza in the past couple days. I think it was yesterday. Oh yeah, yesterday I poked at this bus sign a little more. I pointed out on Friday that the perspective was really not right. Like this bottom line was going up, which would suggest that the horizon line is in the middle of the sign, but that is not correct. Our horizon line is somewhere down here. It's probably like I've imagined it being a little bit around this area, but I don't know if that's really how the perspective of the bus stop lines up. But it's somewhere in there. I've tried not to worry too much about precise perspective, but I want things roughly going towards the horizon line. So I redrew that. I also added like a similar kind of banner that we have at the top of this sign just to give it a little more interest. I think that looks much nicer now. Costco pizza is so good. $10 for an extra large pizza. Nice. This is all that hasn't changed in a long time. Let's cheat and get our items. Oh, hello. Goodbye. Oh no. Please go away. Okay. I don't want to die right now. We have our vase here. So adding interaction to that is something we could maybe do. That alert isn't actually accurate. I removed, for today at least, the play other sound. I might just remove that entirely because it doesn't get used very often. We still have some interaction to do with getting water out of the toilet, but we'll maybe worry about that later. Don't use it because it's very disruptive. Sure. And it's also like it's more hassle for whoever is redeeming it because they gotta, go through a list of sounds and figure out what to ask for. Push. One thing I was thinking I might start with is doing some more of the interaction in here, like removing the lampshade and then unscrewing the light bulb. Because that's something we've done a little bit of because we can turn off the light. So maybe that's a good place to start. I was also thinking we could maybe work on the close-up of the book. It's something I'd like to get to in the near future. Oh, before... I was thinking all the light bulb stuff would be coding, but we actually need some more graphics for that. We're going to need this part of the lamp. God, this is all going to be a pain because we need everything needs to have a light and a dark state. And like creating those graphics isn't a big deal, but like I've got to move things in and out of the scene to swap between the two states, which is going to be kind of annoying. Mostly just because, you know, each time you turn the lights on and off, I'll have to check the state of each object and then swap in the correct alternate version. But we need a version of this without the bulb. And then we're also going to need a version of the bulb in case you drop the bulb. Oh God, I just thought of something that I don't like. I don't like it at all. Shit. Oh crap. You can drop things in the dark. Okay, that doesn't look that bad. It helps a lot that we have this light coming in here, because that helps make it believable that these items on the floor would be believably, you know, decently lit. So I don't hate the way this stuff looks. So I'm just going to not worry about it. My approach with stuff on the ground after you've picked it up has been, I want it to look okay, but I'm trying not to worry about it too much, because most people aren't going to drop stuff, because so far at least there's no reason to ever drop anything. And I think we're probably going to keep it that way. The thing that made me think of that is we're going to need a light bulb that's lying on the ground in case you drop the light bulb. And then I was like, oh, dark light bulb on the ground also. And then I thought of all of the other items, but it's fine. We won't worry about it. So let's start with a version of this without the bulb in it, which, done, maybe? This should probably have a little bit of perspective on it, I guess. We could certainly get away with not worrying about it. But given the angle on everything else, you'd be able to see a little bit of the top of that. Let's do something like that. Should this be more rounded? Yeah, I think I kind of prefer that. It's subtle, but I like it. Okay. And then we need a dark version of this, which I guess I'll start with this. Just trying to think of what is the easiest way to make sure this matches up. So 2 pixels up. There. Yeah. Okay, and I guess I'll go ahead and remove these pixels here, because that's how we've been handling that, to make the inside area transparent. And then the light bulb on the ground, Let's see. Let's see if I can get away with doing this in a very easy way. I feel like it's going to bother me if I do this. Like, I could just make it perfectly horizontal like that, but realistically a light bulb would not sit that way on the ground. So it would be tilted because the screw in end would be, it'd be off the ground if it's sitting perfectly horizontal. It's a little tricky to draw. I can't do any kind of free rotate. I was hoping maybe I could use that as a starting point, but I only get 90-degree rotate. Okay, I'll just kind of, let's try to sketch it a little. Just trying to visualize the angle of things. Like, it's hard to figure out exactly how to draw these pixels, but that's pretty much what I'm trying to do. I guess let's start with a circle. Oh, and that's a little, it's a pixel oblong. But I guess I won't worry about that. And now I'm just trying to add like a cylindrical part coming off of it. I guess. This might help it line up. Where is the center of this? The center is, dang it, there, and it's kind of between 2 pixels in this direction. Yeah, I think that's all right. And then sorry, I'm distracted because every once in a while I can hear an animal. I assume it's on the roof, just running really fast. Thank you for the loon. I'm pretty sure it's on the roof. Like, I think if it was in the attic, it would be a lot louder. But whenever I hear it, I'm like wondering a little bit. This isn't quite right, but it's an okay starting point, I guess. I guess ultimately this is never going to look quite right. And I think we need a little bit of a transition between the the stem part and the bulb, so it comes out more smoothly. It's really hard to do that in this amount of pixels. I guess that's it. I don't know. That's like, I'm not happy with that, but I don't know how to make it better. Probably the squirrels. Yeah, squirrels are definitely the most likely. And then this should all be a darker gray, but that just makes it look even more messy. So maybe I don't worry about that. Maybe I just kind of add a little shadow along the bottom. I don't know. This is so hard. God. I'm going to try putting a little bit of a shadow along here. It doesn't really solve the thing that's bugging me the most about this, but it does seem like it could use some shading. Honestly, that makes me like it even less. You know what? I just realized I never posted anywhere that I'm streaming. I should probably do that. I didn't even post in Discord. I was being too casual. Also, I just want to say, I did turn off things I found in the basement. It was a difficult decision because I have a thing I found in the basement that I'm very excited to share. I think I want to wait until Friday, so as many people can appreciate it along with me as possible. Sorry, now I'm distracted by Twitter. There's a tweet that says, I made my cat a desk to do business at, and it's lovely. I will share this in chat. Silver, hello. Great to see you. So what are y'all up to this weekend? I finally started. Finally, I started Zelda late last night, which I guess is quite late compared to a lot of people. I wasn't in a rush to start it, and honestly, I would have waited longer, but I wanted to start playing it before I had heard too much about all the fun little details. Currently cooking in Zelda. Nice. I figured there was good odds of that, which is why I thought of Zelda all of a sudden. But I'm pretty much in the tutorial area still, I would call it. And I am definitely enjoying it. But so far it hasn't hooked me like Breath of the Wild did, but like that didn't happen until I was like more out into the more open area of the game, and like to me the exploring was the part that really was fun for me. I think the thing I appreciated the most about Breath of the Wild is like more than I think any other game I've played even since then, it felt like a almost completely open world. And like there were very few like artificial obstacles, which like I mean if you've seen speedruns of the game, like if you're capable of pulling it off, you can like go very quickly to the end of that game. So it's more like, you know, difficulty obstacles are blocking things off than like, you know, arbitrarily, you know, oh, you got to do all this other stuff before you come here. But it was just it was very neat to, you know, see something way off in the distance and be like, ooh, I wonder what's over there, and then go over there and, you know, discover something neat. I really enjoyed that experience. Okay, I think I did all the posting. Light bulb. I don't like this light bulb. I don't know how to fix it. Make the stem fatter? I don't know that solves the things that are bothering me about it. Like most of the things that are bothering me about it are more, it's hard to get the various details in that I want. Like it's hard to make this bottom part look round because of how few pixels I have to work with. It's hard to put any shading in that doesn't start to look super messy. And just this like screw part of it is kind of a mess. Taper the end more. Like round the end off more, you mean? That's another thing that's made difficult because of the amount of pixels. Hello, Hinton. Does anyone know if Robot Spacer is doing a surprise stream today? I'm not positive, but I want to say maybe. It kind of keeps just getting worse. No matter, the more I do to it, the worse it gets. I'm gonna erase all this. This isn't round enough. Neither of those looks right. Okay, I'm gonna say that looks a little more right. This is looking bad here. Maybe I should just make it perfectly horizontal and pretend that it's fine. It'd be a lot easier. Maybe something can be trapped in the glass weighing it down. There you go. Maybe this would be easier if I had a reference, like an actual reference. Light bulb. Line down. I mean, I know what I'm trying to draw. It's just the number of pixels I'm working with making it difficult. But I don't know. This might help a little bit. Just kind of, it's maybe helping visualize the tapered part of it, and where to put the pixels there. I think maybe another thing I should do is, like, in this screw part of it, not put the pixels all the way across, like leave kind of a highlight line across the top of it, like that. I think that is a little bit better. Hinton says, objects IRL are usually perfectly aligned to pixel grids anyway. That is true. So now what I'm struggling with, like, I like these two lines. I'm trying to draw the next line down, and it's not cooperating. Maybe that's fine. I don't know. It's still weird. It's still weird, but maybe it's fine. It's not terrible. That's definitely better than before. I think maybe for now I'll just leave it. Again, probably most people are never going to drop this thing. Okay, let's move on to something else. I guess I redrew these, so we need to copy all of these. Thank you, Hinton. Okay, I think that's everything. You should be able to pick up the vase and smash it. I did. Absolutely thought about that. I'm also considering the possibility that maybe you have to smash it in order to get out whatever is inside. I'm strongly considering it. Honestly, the biggest deterrent to this idea is then I have to draw a smashed vase, and that sounds kind of like a pain. But I'm still thinking about it. You can't be serious. Exactly. I'm copying that because we definitely need to put that text in if we do that. I made a note. I'm just going to read you this exact note I wrote. If you need to break it, the text should definitely point out how beautiful it is. Okay, so we're in the study. This is probably the point where it makes sense to start moving these items into their own like object. So I'm going to start by, let's see. I just had a thought. Let's delete this for a second. So the thought I had was that I would just swap out this entire object when you remove the light bulb. But it might actually simplify things a little if I make the light bulb here separate. So then we just remove that, and then, this piece is always the same. So I think that'll work out better. So I'm going to go ahead and split up the art that way. I think that'll just minimize the number of things I need to keep track of and swap in and out based on whether the lights are on or not. So basically this art will always be there, and then we'll have a separate bulb object. That is kind of layered on top of it. And that also gives us like a clickable object that is just the light bulb, which is good. Okay. So then this won't actually be anything we use, and same with that. So our lampshade will move to a separate object. And again, we're going to actually have to have 4 different objects for that. We need, while it's on the lamp, light and dark. We need on the floor, light and dark. I don't know why I scrolled all the way down, because as soon as I create the object, it scrolls up. So lamp shade on light. I'm just going to go ahead and create all these right now. Lamp shade on dark. Lamp shade off light. Whoops. Lamp shade off dark. Did I actually do all that right? Okay, good. And then study dark. Okay, so this has that version in the right spot. Actually, I'm going to paste it in here just to double check. Okay, that looks like everything is perfectly lined up. Oh, before I forget, let's put in the correct object data. So most of these are going to start out in storage, but this one will start out in the study. And they're all going to be considered a mobile. I just had the thought that I guess we could make the lampshade a mobile object so you can like just pick it up and take it with you, which would honestly simplify things a little bit. But it also complicates things a little bit because then that's another object we have to like make sure doesn't overlap with other objects when it's sitting on the ground and all that. When you move your mouse at the same time as I'm moving my mouse, my brain gets upset. That seems pretty understandable. I'm sorry. I'll try to not move my mouse in the same way that you're moving your mouse. I'll do my best. I can't make any promises, though. So we need to figure out exactly where it's going to be when it's on the ground. I think kind of something like that. I feel like that is a sensible place to set it down if you're, standing in front and removing it. Wait, I got distracted and I don't think I updated all these objects. I updated that one. And then I got distracted thinking maybe we should make it an object you can pick up. Okay, now I'm just going to double check that I actually did all that correctly. Storage immobile. Storage immobile. And study immobile. Okay. So those are all good. Next thing we need to do, this needs to be replaced with the different art. I also feel like I'm not 100% happy with the shading I did on this. Like, I don't know why I left this wire completely white in this version. I think it should be gray. It's not a big deal, but I think I will like that better. So I might as well fix that before we waste time positioning things perfectly. Lamp. I'm going to copy these first in case I change my mind. It's possible that once I have it in the scene and see the shading there, it'll just get kind of messy. Oh, interesting. The pattern is lining up different there. Which, I mean, we're not actually going to use this version, but I guess I kind of want to see how it looks. Okay. Yeah, I do think I like that better, at least in here. And then I don't love the way this pattern turned out here. I think what I'm going to do is just flip it. Just because with the light, like the right edge looks darker just because of how the pattern lined up. But with the lighting we have, if anything, the left edge should be darker. Oops, what? Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Now I'm looking at this middle part, and I didn't shade that either in the light version for some reason. I don't know if y'all can hear Unsecret Crush. I guess you can hear her at least a little bit, but clearly there's a lot of things going on in her tabletop game. Oh, you haven't heard her at all? Okay. We do. There's like two doors closed, but this mic picks up so much. I figured you could probably hear a little bit. Honestly, I don't know that this necessarily looks better, but it feels a little more consistent. Like all this metal would be roughly the same material, I think. So this just feels a little more consistent to me. Oops. For some reason, if you enter or exit fat bits mode, you can no longer undo. Just a little annoying. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. We kind of lose a little detail, but I think overall I like it better. That's kind of nice. Okay, and then I think the dark version looks all right how it is. It's fine. Am I actually done fussing with this? I can't wait to find out. Okay, so do I have the right one on the clipboard? I think I do. Oh, dang it. It's pasting off. It's pasting outside of the window. No. So the easiest way to deal with this, actually, like, it doesn't really matter what I paste it into, but the position of the object windows doesn't really matter. And also, I guess I can just say no. So in the end, I'm not affecting anything at all. Oh, I didn't actually move it, did I? Yeah. Need to drag it up here and then cut and then say no. I'm going to give myself some guideline rectangles. Because if I position this on top of the existing art, then I won't be able to select the existing art to delete it. I think that's enough of a guide because it's centered. So the other position doesn't make a difference. And now that's in here, I'm like, oh, this, I didn't shade this either. And I'm also having second thoughts about having filled everything in gray because it is looking a little bit messy. Can't you move back the new art to reveal the old art and delete? So all I can do is send something all the way to the back, send to back. But if I do that, then I have to select everything else that should be behind it and move those to back as well, which is a little bit of a pain. Again, a modern drawing tool would let you move a thing back like one layer back. So then you can just keep repeating that over and over until it's directly behind the object you want it behind. But we don't have that here. I'm just looking at this to decide if I regret the shading changes I made enough to undo it. Any opinions? Just like, especially down in here, it got kind of messy and like it just makes it look a little bit sloppy, I guess. Looks good. Okay, I'll leave it. Thanks. It's not terrible. I'm just looking at this to see if there's anything I can tweak, but it's fine. Okay. So I'll leave that. Actually, let's just real quick add some shading in here. There. And then the bulb will go on top of that as a separate object. Let's go ahead and paste that in to position it, and then I'll move it to a different object. It says, if Stream Ghost comes in later and says, why does that lamp look so sloppy? I am sorry. That's okay. Oh, yeah, I got it. It's perfect. Okay. I thought it would take me longer to position that. So this is going to be light Whoa. Light bulb, light. And like a lot of the objects we've had in the game, this is something you can pick up, but the item you pick up will be a separate object because if you drop it, we want to have an appearance where it's lying on the ground. So this version of the object is considered immobile. And that will start out in the study. Ooh. The lampshade needs to be on top of it. So these 4 objects I need to cut and paste and then type in the names of them again because they need to be higher in the list. But before I do that, I'll create the dark version of this. Light bulb dark. Okay. So yeah, in here, since we just have 2 objects, I can send it back and then delete, and I'm done. Okay, now we got to redo all these. Lampshade on light. Lampshade on dark. I think that's the one I just did. You'll send a layer at a time. Makes me wonder if the dev has abandoned work on this app. I think so. I'm pretty sure. Lampshade off light. The last update was in 95, I think, was when it was made freeware. And that just had some like super minor changes. Mostly to make it more compatible with later macOS versions. Off dark, is that right? Okay. Let's just make sure I labeled these all correctly. On light, on dark, off light, off dark. And it says if they don't do some updates soon, Apple might kick them off the store. That is sadly true if it were in the App Store. I get why Apple wants apps in the App Store to, run well on current devices, but their approach to making sure that happens is ridiculous. If you don't update your app after a certain number of years, they'll warn you that it's going to be removed. And if you continue to not update it, they'll just remove it. They will do that even if your app works perfectly fine as it is on current devices. So a lot of developers have to just, waste time doing a new update that doesn't even change anything and upload it again. Honestly, I feel like so many of their dumb policies would be solved if they just had an unlisted app state, so that people could link to the app. People that already have the app can find it in their purchase list just fine, but it doesn't show up in search results. And they can do that if they're worried something isn't going to work fine on current devices. Or also obviously they should also have an option to say, hey, I've tested this on current devices. It works fine. Leave me alone. Especially like, they also make you pay $100 a year just to keep your stuff in the App Store. They've got a lot of goofy policies. Anyways, enough about that. So this is all good now. This stuff is correct. And then, so I think what we need to do now is start adding code to swap out the other objects. Like while the lampshade is on, I think I'm trying to figure out how I want to write the code for this, but I think it'll be easier if I just start doing it. My AppWorks checkbox would be awesome. Agreed. Okay, so this block of code is for turning the lights off. This block of code is for turning the lights on. And then within that, this is the block that actually turns the light off. This is the block that actually turns the light on. So basically, we just need to add a bunch of if statements inside of each of these blocks that swaps out the other objects that are present. So if lamp shade off, we'll start with lampshade on light equals scene, then we're going to move lampshade on light to storage. Oh God, I hit the wrong key. And we'll move lampshade on dark to the scene. It says iPhone should play an alarm every day to let you know that all your installed apps are marked as working by the developer. I'm sure Apple would love that. Okay, so that handles the state where it's on the lamp. And then we need one to handle the state where it's off. So we're just going to change all these ons to offs. And then we basically just need to copy that whole chunk of code, bring it down here, and swap the light and dark checks. Because we want to do the opposite. I'm going to go ahead and close this to save that. And I also want to double check how I labeled the light bulb objects. Okay, light bulb light and light bulb dark. So then we just need a third thing here that says if light bulb light is in the scene, then we move light bulb light to storage and move light bulb dark to the scene. And then again, we do the opposite down here. And I think that's it in terms of swapping the objects out. There's still a lot of other interactivity to worry about, but that's all going to be kind of separate from managing this. Hello, Jesper GB. Is this made on an old Mac? We are using System 6 in Mini VMAC, which is an emulator, and working in a program called World Builder, which was released in 1986. It was originally made for a game called Enchanted Scepters, which is one of the very first point-and-click adventure games. And the game engine was released in '86, and there's a lot of other games that were made with it, and we're making our own little game in it. I was going to say let's go ahead and test this now, but we should add some more code so we can test the other states better. So let's do that. I think just so we don't have to worry about the text parser commands right now, I think I'll just set it up so that if you click on the lampshade, it sets that onto the ground. If you click on a bulb, it adds that to your inventory. And there's more, we'll need to get more complex with that eventually. But for now, that'll let us test all the different things. I'm just trying to decide where to add this code. It ultimately doesn't matter. But I think I want to add it down here. I want to keep all the code related to the lamp in one place, at least. If click equals... Ooh. Okay. This actually gets a little tricky, but it shouldn't be too bad. Because we need to handle removing the lampshade whether the lights are on or off. We're going to force the player to turn off the light before taking the light bulb, but they'll be able to remove the lampshade either way. I think that is reasonable. But if we use a single equal sign here, then we can check for so if click $, single equals lampshade on. So that means if they're clicking on an object that whose name contains lampshade on, then the code inside this will run. So that means this code will run whether they click on the light or dark version, which is exactly what we want. We will have within this block, the code is going to be a little different, but it keeps everything in one place. So that just makes it a little easier. And then also when we add our parser input for this action, we can add that all in one line. Okay, so we are going to need some kind of similar if statements here. Just going to copy this. So if lampshade on dark is in the scene, then we will move lampshade on dark to storage, and then we'll move lampshade off dark to the scene. So that will effectively move the lampshade onto the ground when the lights are off. And we're just going to copy this block and change dark to light, and then we're handling the light version of that. And then we'll print some text that says, you remove the lamp shade and set it on the ground. Hello, Can't Stop the Kittens. Great to see you. Welcome. Next to the table. Hello, if you're new here, I'm Robot Spacer, and we're building a game in World Builder, which is a program that was released in 1986. We're currently working in Apple's System 6 software from many, many years ago. And we're making a silly little adventure game. And if you go to robotspacer.tv. You can read a little bit more about it there. Let me hit a button here. There we go. But thanks for stopping by, kittens. What were you up to today? Dr. Mario GBA. Nice. Okay. Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome. It's nice to have you here. Okay. So that should all work. Currently, I am writing some code to deal with removing a lampshade from a lamp. And then we're also going to add some code right now for taking a light bulb out, which is going to be kind of similar. So I'm just copying this whole block. Light bulb. So I just had a thought, which is that I wrote this code if click equals light bulb, which is going to check if they click on any object name that contains the words light bulb, which is good in some ways, but we don't want this code to run if they click the object that's just lying on the ground, which is going to be the one they can pick up. So we actually need, I think, to do this the easiest way, we need to rename our version of the light bulb that's screwed into the lamp still. I'm having trouble figuring out what I want my gaming streams to be like, so I'm going to refocus on retro achievements and speedruns. Nice. That sounds like fun. So I'm just going to change these names to, I think, light bulb in. That's fine. And I think I'll go ahead and create our the object you can actually hold, and that we're just going to call light bulb. This object name we want to be simple and not have any like extra words in it, because you'll actually see this text within the game. Like it shows up in your inventory, it shows up in the automatic messages if you pick it up or drop it and stuff like that. Gonna lurk while I finish up some cleaning as I'm headed out a bit later. Your game's gonna be so fun. Thank you. And thank you for lurking and coming by. I appreciate that. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, so here's our object that we'll be able to pick up and drop. I'm gonna put it around there. So I have this code that I've got a bunch of different cheat codes in here just to make it easier to test some different things. And this one block I have moves everything in the game that you can pick up. It puts on the ground in front of you, which is very helpful for testing, just to make sure things aren't like overlapping or otherwise look weird. So we're adding our pick-upable light bulb to that code. Let's see, we should also update the properties for this. So that's going to start out in storage. And it is a mobile object. I guess the value, I don't think we're going to show the value of things in our game when we're done with it, but it's a little bit valuable, I guess. Okay, so now we can get back to this code here. So now that we've changed the name of our objects, I can make this say light bulb in, and then this code will run if you click on the light bulb that's screwed into the lamp, whether the lights are on or off. So we have two different objects that we're matching with this statement. And then, so this code inside here is actually going to be very different. we actually don't need to bother doing any checks. We can just move both versions to storage. Light bulb in light to storage. And light bulb in dark. One of those will already be in storage, but it doesn't really matter if we just do both versions. And I'm just going to write this. We'll probably change this later. You pick it up, place it in your purse. Okay. Oh, right. We need to move the actual mobile object into your inventory. So that one's light bulb, and we move that to player at, I think is correct. So basically, we move both of the screwed in states into storage. We move the mobile object into your inventory, and then we print a message that says you've picked it up. And that should let us test everything. So let's go see if it works. That code, the more code we add, the longer it takes to open and close the window. And I'm a little worried that one's going to get a little slow once I start doing all the... we have a cat in this room that you'll be able to have a conversation with. And that's going to get reasonably complex, I think. It might even get very complex. I'm a little scared to start getting into that code and see how slowly all that loads. Okay, so this is where we start. I think we're going to cheat and go directly to the study. So the first test we're going to do is in this state. And we're going to turn the lights off. Okay. I was wondering if that might happen. The dark lampshade appeared first, and it was very obvious. I'm just thinking what we can do to make that transition better. Worst case scenario, we could just have the entire dark version of the room in different states as opposed to layering objects on top. That's definitely one way to fix it. I would prefer not to do that because then we're duplicating all that art. Which wastes some amount of space on a system with limited space. And then also, if we ever want to tweak anything, I have to change it in every version. It's possible if we change the ordering of some things, we might be able to get that to transition more smoothly. Let's see if it happens the other way. Yeah. Oof. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove this. You remove the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. So that worked fine. Oh, what did I do? I did something wrong because we're seeing the lights out version of this. The light bulb. Okay. But we were able to pick up the light bulb. It says you pick it up and place it in your purse. And we should be able to see it in our inventory now. So we can drop the light bulb. Oh. Okay. I tried to add some helpful text if it seemed like they were trying to turn the lights off or on, but weren't typing a recognized command, I have it print this text, try using light on or light off to turn the light off or on. I think we might just remove that. We're already planning on having a help screen. So if it seems necessary, we can put that in the help. There's so many tricky little things to think about. It's a very simplistic programming language. The ordering of things is super important. Consider it a clue for the player. It's just because light moves slower in purgatory. Okay, so first thing I'm doing. So this is the code here. Like I typed drop light bulb, and it was like, oh, you typed something with light in it. It wasn't caught by this code above here that deals with turning the light switch on or off. So I'm going to try to be helpful. And drop light bulb is something that's handled by the game engine itself. So there's nowhere we can put this that won't cause this problem. Like even if we put it as the very last thing, it's still going to happen. We could try to make this more general, but since the whole point of it is to capture a broad number of input possibilities that are not what we're expecting, it doesn't really make sense to make it more specific. So I'm just going to delete it, and hopefully we can get some people to play test this and make some little tweaks to it. And we've already got quite a few options that we handle. Like you can say light off, light on, turn the lights off, switch off the lights, turn off the lights. There's lots of different ways you can say it that the game will understand. So I think we're being pretty flexible. Hello, 6-7. Bonus stream 2? How am I supposed to get Zelda time in? Well, you could play Zelda and watch the bonus stream at the same time like Silver is doing. Otherwise, I can't help you, and I'm sorry. But I have been trying to keep the more interesting stuff on Friday streams, if that helps. So you could also just skip the stream and enjoy your Zelda. I promise I won't do anything that's really cool. Right now, we're just doing some programming stuff. I'll probably do a little bit of art later, but I'll do the most boring art I can think of, if that helps. So now we need to figure out the other problems we ran into. If possible. I'm a little bit worried that it's not going to be easy to solve this. Oh, that's why switching the bulb between light and dark didn't work, because I changed the item names, but I forgot to update this code. So that's one problem solved. But the trickier problem is like the transition. Like you can see the various objects getting swapped out. I'm going to try just moving this first, just to see what it does. I think it's just going to kind of cause the same problem in a different order. I do think we're going to have the dark room in different states, as like the entire scene is in that object. I think that might be the only way to accomplish this. I'm thinking a little bit. Ray Dunnican is a developer that made a bunch of world builder games and also wrote a bunch of documentation for how to do more advanced things in it. And I'm thinking about like how he might have handled this situation, but from what I've seen, he typically handled a dark room by not really letting you do anything until you turn the lights on. But in our case, we specifically want you to be able to take the light bulb out when the lights are off. So that doesn't really work. Hinton says, not too boring, please. I need to stay awake. Okay, I'll try to find a good middle ground. Silver says, I am both enjoying the stream and enjoying the Zelda. That's wonderful. 67 says, as someone who spends long hours making designer script less verbose and more powerful and flexible, the script makes me want to rebuild it. Yeah, it's really not great. I kind of enjoy the challenge of figuring out how to solve a problem in it, but I'm really glad, one, that we're keeping our game pretty simple, and two, that like in the end it's okay if this game has some bugs. As long as they're not like really bad bugs. Like hopefully we can get things working to a point where any bugs in the game most people won't come across. Fingers crossed. Because it's so hard to debug, and there's so many weird things that could happen that would get just very hard to solve. Okay, so first things first, let's turn the light off. Yeah. So we got kind of the opposite transition there. Ooh. No. I was thinking, oh, maybe if we change the way things are layered, we can basically affect the layering of objects by changing their order in the objects list. So if we do that, it could make that transition a little smoother. Like the way that happened, you could see the dark room move in, but then the light-colored lampshade was still present. So if the light-colored lampshade was behind the dark room, it would help with that. But then when we go the opposite way, turning the lights on, we're going to end up with the same problem in the opposite direction. And there's no way to handle that layering that works for both directions. As long as they're not bed bugs. Hopefully no bed bugs. I think your website is blocked on my work VPN. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Hinton. I think you should file a complaint with your IT department. My website is definitely educational, I think. So that should be allowed, right? Wait, what? Two things. It changed it made the room light, but it said the light is already on and the dark lampshade is still here. What did I do? And the dark light bulb is here. We can at least check if we can drop light bulb. Okay. No longer have the light bulb. Okay, so our item placement worked out good. I might move that a little bit over to the right to get it not so close to these other items, but that's fine. Let's try turning the light off. The light is now off, so that worked. Light on. The light is already on. Fascinating. All right, we didn't have any code for putting the lampshade back on. I probably won't worry about that. Fixed one thing, broke several others. Yeah, that's kind of par for the course in World Builder, I think. We'll get there. Hey, Krillin, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Hinton said, I didn't even know my work VPN blocked things. I mean, it feels pretty standard for a work VPN, I guess. Wasn't doing any work anyway. Okay. That's one way to solve it. Yes, we do have a cat in our game now. Our cat's name is Brisket. You'll be able to have a conversation with Brisket. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to turn the lights on and off in this room. It's very complicated. So I think where we're at here is we're going to have to do completely different room states. Like, there's definitely some bugs in my code, but it's actually not worth fixing them because we're going to have to completely change the code to make this animate correctly. Like, we want a smooth transition from light to dark. Right now we have like it makes the room dark and then it makes the lampshade dark, etc. So we need to put all the dark room states like need to be each a separate object. So currently we have study dark. Which looks like this. So we need a version with the lampshade on. We need a version like this. We need a version like this with the lampshade on the ground. And then we need a version like that, except without the light bulb. And I think that's it. The good news is that my plan with the cat is that you can't mess with the lamp at all until the cat has left the room. So we don't need to worry about the cat. I'm just thinking. Okay. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it and paste it at the bottom of the list. We're going to have to do more reordering probably, but that's okay. Study, I'm just trying to think of how to label these. So we have study, dark, lampshade. We'll call it shade on. Copy and paste. We'll name this study dark shade off. And then naming things is so hard. Study dark bulb taken. That's fine. Hinton says, okay, so I went to your website in the hopes it would say what Mac emulator you're using, but now I'm here asking you in chat anyway. That is totally fine. In fact, I will take a moment to give you a link. It's called Mini VMac. It's a really nice emulator if you're looking to emulate an older Mac OS version. I'm trying to see if it says here. I think System 7.5 is maybe the highest it goes. It can at least do 755. And that's also got info to, explain how to get things up and running. If anyone does want more help with that, that isn't answered on the website, probably our Discord is a better place to talk about that. Okay, so So we don't need these anymore. Well, so I think what I'm going to do is the light version of the room, I will continue to have, the separate objects without the full room art. So this we don't need anymore, and this we don't need anymore. And this we don't need anymore. Ooh. We still want this to be... Oh, the lampshade needs to be clickable also. So I think what we'll do for the clickable areas when it's dark is to just have a transparent clickable area. I'm going to go ahead and remove this object for now. Actually, I'll paste it back in. It needs to be moved to the end of the list anyway, so it's on top of the dark background. Light bulb in dark. Whoops. Okay. So again, the light versions of these objects will just be the object by itself. But then the dark versions will be the whole thing. Oh, so we need to... Shoot, did I delete those already? That was foolish of me. It's not a big deal, but... we need to... There we go. Paste this back in here and line it up. So this is shade on. Oh, is that the old? That's the old version of the art. I think. The differences are pretty subtle. All right, I never fixed that. Wait, is that? That's actually the light version, isn't it? Yeah. Really, this piece I could get away with keeping the same in light and dark. And if it was helpful, I would just do that. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get everything lined up and then be able to delete this old artwork. It's a little bit of a pain. It's a weird little puzzle, honestly. But if I copy this in and line it up here. I think that's right. Actually, let's bring this to front. Okay, yeah, that looked all correct. And then I have the light bulb to help me figure out if this is lined up right. That looks correct, I think. Hello, Mzizzy. It's looking so much better every time I see it. Your progress is intimidating. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I hope you're doing well. It said, it's cool that you have to replace the entire world to change the light bulb. Very video games. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so now we should take these two objects and put them in the other versions of the room. Actually, this version, I'll probably delete the light bulb because it's just kind of wasting space here. You won't actually see it. But I figured it was a good time to get that in there. So this version will be the shade off, so all that we need to be there. And then this version will be no bulb. And then we'll have to add the shade to the ground there. So shade off. What did I do with my, oh, right. I pasted it and then I ended up having to delete it. Okay. So I'm hesitating here because I'm trying to think if there's any reason I could possibly want this light bulb to be here. I'm pretty sure it's fine. You won't ever see it. And then this version, we need it on the ground. So shade off. That's fine. That one's done. And that's on the ground there. And the good thing, I'm glad I didn't make the shade transparent at all. Because then we'd need another state. Well, I guess we could just have it so you can't put the lampshade back on. I might do that anyway. I don't know. We'll see. It's like you created your own twisty passages all alike, but in the mind. Yes, very much so. And also in the computer. Wait, what is this for? Oh, right. This was going to be just a transparent object. So we still need, in the dark version, we need transparent objects you can click on for the bulb and the lampshade. And possibly the lampshade when it's off if we want them to be able to put it back on, even though there's no reason to do that. So, I could just draw a box, but it would be better if it's a polygon. Like this bitmap object will only detect clicks inside the shape, which I think is a little bit nicer. So basically I'm going to draw a polygon that is as close as I can get to that shape. It's okay if it's like a pixel or two bigger. I'm continually surprised that every weird thing like this that has come up, I've been able to figure out some solution that doesn't require me to just like scrap some idea I have had. I can't help but think that's coming. But so far we're okay. Okay, so I want to try to keep consistent naming here. So lampshade off. No, lampshade on dark. Resourcefulness to the rescue. And then we already have this object. So I just need to do another polygon. I might be a little lazy with this because like it's fine. So I'm just going to do an oval. That's super close. Send it back, delete, and then there's our clickable object for that. This house needs a bedroom with a hot tub. No, absolutely not. No one should ever have that. They should be illegal. MZizzy says, one of my favorite things about older games is devs having to use creative solutions. Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes, but I also kind of love having to figure this stuff out. Absolutely no maggots ever. Maggots should be illegal. Okay. Sorry, I just started thinking about maggots for a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Just to clarify for anyone who doesn't understand why we're talking about bedrooms with hot tubs and maggots, MZizzy had a bad experience with all of these things recently. I will say no more than that. Okay, so now I need to rewrite a whole bunch of code. And hopefully this won't be too much of a pain. I think we need to use a variable to keep track of the room state now. Before, I could just write all this code based on what objects are in the room, so I just swap things out. Which, first of all, apparently I had some bugs with that. It's kind of bothering me not knowing what I screwed up because it all seemed really straightforward. But it's not worth worrying about. MZizzy has some educational information for us. If you get a huge wound and a fly lays maggots in it, they will eat all the rotting flesh, keeping it more hygienic. They taught us that in Australian primary school. That's good to know, I guess. I don't think I learned anything like that in I think primary school would be roughly equivalent to what we call elementary school. Never learned much about maggots, to be honest. Okay, so we need a variable name, which is tricky. Our variable names can be basically A1 through Z9. But not B2 and or B4 are bad. Actually, I searched through all the documentation. There's 2 places that say B2 is bad. There's 2 places that say B4 is bad. So after checking that, I don't trust either one. I strongly suspect that B4 is a typo and that it's B2 that is the one to watch out for, but I don't trust either. Primary is age 5 through 12. Okay, interesting. So oh God, I haven't thought about this in a long time. What is elementary school? Like that's like the younger. There's elementary school, middle school, high school. Middle school would be 6 through 8. And then high school is 9 through 12. Right? Oh God. I don't want to think about this anymore. Thank you for the fanfare, 6-7. Okay, so I don't think we've used s as a variable, and we're in the study, so we'll use s1. I'm going to update my list of bad variables. B4 has also gone bad. You're mixing up grades and ages. Oh, age 5 through 12. Okay, yes, I was. Thank you. So, age 5 through 12 would be... I'm trying to remember like what the difference is. Don't make him think about it. It's fine. It's fine. Age 5 through 12. So like you're typically... I'm trying to remember like what the offset is. Like I want to say 5 years? I mean, obviously it depends a little bit depending on exactly when you were born and when you start school. Is that right? Hello, David Alexander. Welcome. Yeah, I probably do need a reboot. Also, like, I could probably use a reformat or something. Just kind of reinstall the OS, maybe. Put in a new hard drive. I could use a lot of things at this point. S1. So this is going to be our study state, basically. And the default variable, which is... Thank you for the flush, Zizzy. That'll help. So our default state is going to be lampshade on. We'll set it to 1 for lampshade off. We'll set it to 2 for light bulb. Light blub is apparently what I'm writing. Light bulb taken. And then three could be, if we feel like doing it, shade on, bulb gone. Question marks. I might actually keep track of whether the bulb is taken separately. Just because that's like an object you can pick up. But I'll think about it. How goes the game building? It's pretty good. I'm struggling with figuring out a complicated situation. It's funny. I thought this every stream. I thought I'll start out with this simple thing. We'll get it done real quick, and then I'll move on to some art or whatever. But surprise, the simple thing is very complicated, and it's probably going to take the whole stream. Hello, Cosmic Void. Great to see you. Australian primary schools used to be a socialist paradise with free maggots for every pupil. That's wonderful. We're always learning so many exciting things about Australia. Okay, so now let's write some code. So this whole chunk here, pretty much everything you see on screen is dealing with turning the light off. And it's all bad, and it has a bunch of references to objects that don't exist anymore in the game, so we're pretty much going to delete it. I'm just going to delete this chunk here. And I'm just trying to think of how this is going to go. So the first thing we need to do is check our study state variable. So if S1 number is less than 1 is the way to check if it hasn't been set to anything yet, then And what did I end up naming these objects? Study dark, shade on? Oh, actually, I'm always closing things to check, but I don't need to do that. And I should try to remember that more. Because it's a little bit slow. So, shade on, shade off, bulb taken. So, that's our initial state. And then if it equals 1, then we move shade off to the scene. And if it equals 2, then we move, is it bulb taken? Okay, and then we also have our transparent clickable objects to worry about. So that's this one. Lamp bulb in dark and lamp shade on dark. So that goes here, lamp shade on dark. Free maggots for every pupa. Thank you for the correction. Okay. Is that right? That seems right, but as we all know at this point, if something seems right, that doesn't mean it is. At least when I'm the one making these decisions. So I'm going to take all this and copy it down here where we're dealing with turning the light on. So in this case, so we have our separate objects for when the lights are on. I think we can actually just leave those. When the lights are off, because the lights off graphics will be on top of them. And if we leave them, then we'll get us, I think we have to leave them because that will get us the smooth instant transition from dark to light. If we're moving those in and out, we'll see them pop in and out when we change the light back on. So that's important. The main thing to keep in mind there is when we change the state of the dark room, we also have to update the state of the light room. Okay, so this is basically the opposite. We just move everything to storage instead of to the scene. So that should all be correct, I think. Now let's go down here and deal with actually changing the state. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure we set our variable when we change the state. So let S1 number sign equal, this is if we're clicking on the lampshade to remove it. So we want to set this to 1, lampshade off state. No one know what code do until you hit go. That is certainly quite true in World Builder, at least. This all is wrong above here. I think I'm just going to delete that for now. This. So this is when we click on the bulb. So we're going to set S1 to 2. Move light bulb to player is something we'll still want to do. I guess these two are still correct, because we still have this as a separate invisible object. And let's go ahead and we have clickable objects for the lampshade as well. Lampshade on light. And lampshade on dark. And then we need to update the dark appearance of the room. If the room is dark. I'm actually wondering now if it would help to have a variable that keeps track of whether this light is on. I don't think. Yeah, we're not doing that currently. In the way things were set up before, it didn't seem like that big of a deal, but the way things are now. Oh. Okay. Here's my check if it's dark or not when they try to turn the lights off. So if it's dark, if it's not dark, if the dark appearance is in the storage, then we actually turn the lights off. Otherwise, we say the light is already off. Okay, yeah. So the way we've had to change things up, I think this is going to be a lot simpler if this is checking a variable instead of checking if an object is here. So I guess we'll just use S2 for this. Light in study. And less than 1 will be on, 1. I'm just thinking because like it makes sense to have our initial default state be the default value, but aside from that, I would generally program it so on is 1 and off is 0. Like that is more logical. But also, like, if I do it that way, then I have to, like, figure out how to set the variable to 0, or how to set the variable to 1 before the player has done anything, which is kind of a pain. So I think I'll just deal with it being a kind of confusing variable value. So 1 is off. It's fine. Why not have 0 and 1? Why not have on 0 and 1 and off? What? I don't even understand your sentence. Why not have on 0 and 1 and off 2 to really confuse yourself? I don't even understand your sentence, let alone what you're suggesting. Okay, S2 equals is less than 1. So that means it's light. And then down here, we say equals 1. And then we need to set the variable as well. So f2 equals 0. And up here, We set it to 1. Hello, Furkung. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that sentence doesn't really work. If S2 in 0, 1, then on is S2 equals 2, then off. I see what you're saying, I think. Okay. So I think that's all correct now. I'm just going to move this down here because I think that's kind of the ordering of things I've done elsewhere. Okay. I think that's all right. And then we need to get back to this code here where we actually change things around. So now we have a variable we can check. Oh, I screwed that up. That's a syntax error that it would have complained about later. And says, I give up trying to explain code idiocy in chat. Gonna go try to explain code idiocy in a work video meeting. Wonderful. I hope it goes great. Okay. If S2 we'll check for less than 0, less than 1 rather, first. And we'll do end. And then we'll have if S2 number sign equals 1. And okay. So this is our chunk for handling the light on state, and then above that is for the light off state. Okay. So if we're clicking on the lampshade, so this block of code we're working on right now is for moving the lampshade on the lamp to the ground next to it. So the light state is, at least for my brain, a little bit more straightforward. We're moving the on state to storage, and we're moving the off state to the scene. Honestly, code-wise, it would probably be simpler if I set up the light state of the room the same way as the dark state. But in terms of managing the graphics and objects, it's worse. So I think I'm just going to leave it how it is for now, unless the code starts to feel like it's a nightmare to manage. So I think we have the light state working correctly here, but with the dark state, what we need to do is study dark shade off is what we need to move to the scene. And then Wait. This is if the light is on. I have these backwards, don't I? See, I knew this was going to happen, and it immediately happened. I thought it would take longer until I got confused about this. Less than 1 is on, 1 is off. Lampshade on light, lampshade off light. That's correct. And here we move study dark shade off. So we're moving this art in, and then light shade on dark to storage. Okay, right. This is our clickable lampshade when the light is off. Did I configure these objects correctly? Absolutely not. Wow. Okay, storage, a mobile object. Study. Light bulb in dark. Oh, really? That was not correct. Okay. I should check these other ones. Okay. Those I did correctly. I think because I copied an object that was already set up right. Okay. So we need to move the clickable object to storage. Lampshade on dark. And we've done that. And then we need to move the previous state of the room to storage as well. So that's study dark shade on. And I'm moving the previous state to storage after we move the new state in, just to make sure we don't see like a flash of the light room. I'm not sure if that's a concern or not, but it probably is. Okay, I think that's all correct now. Let's make this window narrow so I can put it on the side and see my objects at the same time. That will help. Now we need to deal with clicking the light bulb. So we're going to have these same 2 blocks, one for light on, one for light off. So for light on, we just move the bulb to storage. For light off, we move the invisible clickable bulb to storage, and then we also need to change the overall state of the room. So in this case, we're moving in dark, study dark bulb taken. You know, it just occurred to me that if I label these objects to match the variable number, like this could be study dark state 1, state 2, state 3, and then that would match up with the variable numbers. Well, I guess it'd be 0, 1, 2. That might be a little less confusing, but also then I have to update a bunch of stuff, and I'm almost done, so I guess I won't worry about it. That's a thing I might do if I get confused later and things are broken. So shade off to storage and then bulb taken to the scene. So that should all be correct now. I'm sure it's not correct, but let's try it. Some of it might work. Oh no, that's not what you want. Wait, what? Oh, then. I'm missing then. I do that a lot. I think, you know what? I think what's happening is, like, if I were writing Swift code, which I normally do, I'd be doing something like if s2 equals 1, and then I'd write a curly bracket here, and then the closing curly bracket. So I think what's happening is my brain is like, I've written a curly bracket at the end of the line. I am done with this line now. But that's not how this language works. We got to have the then here. So I'm missing that here as well. I think that's it, but we'll find out. Got it. The verbosity. Okay. I am so curious if this is going to work at all. Cheat study. Oh, what should we try first? Let's turn the light off. Beautiful. Okay. I'm feeling better now. Let's turn the light. Whoop. Okay, that worked even though there was a typo, which is fine. So let's move the lampshade now. Ooh, interesting. What happened there? I got the correct output. You remove the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. But it's not updating the object. Thank you for the UGG culinary. Let's turn the lights off and see what that does. Thank you for the fanfare 6-7. So the dark version of the room was updated correctly. That's wild. What happens if I turn the light on now? Okay. I probably just mistyped an object name or something. Let's turn the lights off and see if I can take the bulb. No. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it a little bit worked, which is honestly more than I was expecting. Brisket is afraid of the dark and runs away in it. I don't think Brisket is afraid of the dark. But Brisket would absolutely get mad at you and possibly even murder you for turning the light off while they're in the room. So that will not be a thing you can do in the game. Which is why Brisket is not there when the lights are off. We just haven't coded that in yet. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Scene code. Brisket turns out to be 1/4 GRU. Possibly. Okay, so when I clicked on the lampshade and the lights were on, it gave the correct output, but it did not update the scene correctly. So this is the code that's screwed up. You remove the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. And the version for handling the dark room was correct. Move. Oh, light shade? That's not a thing. No wonder all this code didn't work. Like that typo was probably there before. And I just copy and pasted it. Light shade on dark. Yeah, oh gosh. How did any of this work? Light bulb in dark. Light bulb in light. That looks correct. Okay, so let's review this again. If the light is on, if S2 is less than 1, then we move lampshade on light. Lampshade on light. So we're moving this to storage. and we're moving lampshade off light to the scene. So that's this one. Okay, that seems correct. Study dark shade off moves to the scene. So that's correct. Oh. Oh. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going O about in a second here. Move study dark shade on to storage. So that's this graphic. Moves out. And then we move lampshade on dark, which is our invisible clickable lampshade, also to storage. And the thing I was going O about is we need to move the clickable light bulb graphic to the scene, which is light bulb in dark. That's why I couldn't click on anything after removing the lampshade. Okay. No, scene, not storage. And with the light version of the room, the bulb should already be there. So now that I've fixed these two lines, we should have a clickable bulb in the light version. All right. Let's try again. Okay, light off. Good. Light on. Good. Remove the lampshade. Nice. You move the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. Light off. Good. Light on. Thank you for the rats, Krillin. Okay, so now I'm going to try to take the bulb. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Light off. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same things, but I'm going to do the actions with the lights off to make sure that things are handled correctly there. Also, I just realized we added code for picking up the light bulb while the lights are on. In the actual game, that won't be possible because the bulb would be very hot. I guess we could allow you to do that and cause a minor injury, but I think it makes more sense to tell you to turn the light off first. I'll close this to reset everything. Cheat study. Okay, set light off. Remove the lampshade. You remove the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. Just make sure. Oh no. Okay. I didn't update the state of the light version of the room. Okay. This is a little tricky because if the lights are off, we need to always update the state of the light version of the room. If the lights are off, then like that stuff is all covered up. But the dark room state only gets updated if the lights are off. We're almost there. Light off. Okay, since we're using a variable to keep track of this stuff, that still took us back to the right state. Okay. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Perfect. But I think if we turn the lights back on, yeah, we'll go back to here. Okay, we're almost there. Hello, Res Mason. Great to see you. Did that once as a kid. Would not recommend. The room looks beautiful with the shading. Thank you. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So there are 4 total states. I mean, it's complicated. I'm not going to try to count them. Werewolf has concluded. Uh-oh, that means I need to wrap up soon. I'm going to take a quick break. I need a bathroom break anyway. I'll be back, and then hopefully we'll at least finish this code up, and yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've got till about 8 before I need to wrap things up. I hope it won't take that long to finish this code. Where where actually was I? We had some bugs. We had one final bug, which was the light state of the room was not getting updated when we did things in the dark. Okay. This should be, like, I think I just need to delete some lines, maybe? This is the code for handling the Lightroom state, which we always want to happen. Because that's just, when it's dark, that stuff is just behind the dark version of the room. Actually, I'm going to leave that up here. Res Mason asks, so who was the werewolf? Unsecret Crush explained, technically all of us. It's Werewolf the Apocalypse, similar system as Vampire the Masquerade. Yes. And then similar situation down here for when you're taking the light bulb. We always want to move the light version of the light bulb into storage when you take it. I think that's all correct. Okay. So our bug was with doing the actions with the lights off. So we'll turn the light off. Click on the lampshade. That updated correctly. We'll turn the light on. Good. Fixed. Light off. Take the bulb. Got it. Light on. Perfect. And let's see, it should be in our inventory. We have a light bulb. We can drop the light bulb. And there it is. Turn the lights off. Pile up our items. Yeah, that's pretty good. I was saying earlier, I think I want to move this bulb over. I'll put it over here. I don't know. It's too close to the bone. Honestly, like, all these things I would like to space out a little more, but I'm not going to worry about the rest of them right now. Maybe I'll just move it a little to the right. Okay, so let's now try... Let's close this. I just want to try at least one more test. Like, let's take the lamp shade off and then turn the lights off. And then take the bulb. Oh, you know what? I just realized... I have code so you can turn the light on after you've taken the bulb. I didn't even like think about that. Obviously, you know, you could conceivably have an overhead light in the room, but that's not what I had in mind. So you shouldn't be able to turn the lights on after you've taken the bulb. Okay, yeah, so something is not right. I actually can't click on the bulb here. Why did that happen? I took the lampshade off and then I turned the light off. So some part of that is not getting updated correctly. Okay. We keep getting a little bit closer and yet still not quite there. It's like at Disney when the ride breaks down, all the lights come on. While I'm at it, this is probably a good time to figure out how things are going to actually work in the game. So like I was saying earlier, we won't allow you to take the light bulb out unless it's dark. So let's start to get a little more specific about all those interactions at this point. But first, let's make sure you can't turn the light on if you've taken the bulb. So I'm thinking about how to do this. So this is our code for handling turning the lights on. Oh, is this? Study dark isn't even an object we have anymore. Okay. So I'm just getting lost thinking about all the various things I'm like juggling here. So we also we have a bug up here somewhere. So when we turn the lights off, we need to make sure our clickable objects also get moved to the scene. Oh, wait. Oh. Lamp bulb in dark. Yeah, that's light bulb in dark is the correct object name. It'd be great if there was some way to check if you're referencing an object that doesn't exist. Okay, so that's fixed now. Let's get back to this, making sure you can't turn the lights on if the bulb is gone. I think what I'll do is add a check here. If S2 number sign, wait. S2 is checking if the light is on or not. S1 is checking if they've taken the light bulb. Okay, so this is a part where I start to wonder if it might be a little simpler to have a separate variable to keep track of whether they've taken the light bulb. But for now, it's okay. And I think unless we decide to let them put the lampshade back on, which I'm fine with not worrying about, especially with how much of a struggle this has been so far, I think we won't worry about that. So I can just check if S1 is less than 2. If it equals 2, then they've taken the bulb. So if it's less than 2 and the light is on, then we want the light. And the light is off. 1, which is off. Then we turn the lights on. Okay. But the way we currently have it now, if they've taken the bulb, then it will print the light is already on, which is not correct. So we need to add another check to handle that. So then we'll say there's no bulb in the lamp. Okay, I think that's all good now. So first we check if the bulb is present and the lights are off, then we turn the lights on. Oh, wait. This check is backwards. If S1 equals 2, then we say there's no bulb in the lamp. Should that be 2 equal signs? I forget how it does this. Maybe it's just 1. It's a little confusing. Like certain things you can use 2 equal sign to mean equals exactly, or a single sign to mean contains. But in cases where you don't have that flexibility, it just wants you to use a single equal sign. So I think this is a case where that wouldn't make sense to do, so we're just using a single equal sign. Also, it sounds like y'all are just talking about Werewolf, but I'm going to catch up on chat here. Unsecret Crush says, this pack is all literally teenage girls and the mom friend is in her early 20s. My character's current quest objective is make a phone call. Oh no. She's got like a special werewolf phone? She can use the special spirit internet. That's fascinating. Okay. The other thing we didn't do yet is trying to take the bulb while the light is on. So let's do that as well. So if you click the bulb, currently we always allow you to take it. But that's not what we want. If S2 is 1, then the lights are off. So in that case, we want to do all the scene updating here. And actually, all of this will only happen if the lights are off. And this will be an exit. And then here, we're going to have you start to grab the bulb. But realize it's very hot. That's fine. I'll make that better later. Okay, so that should all be good now, I think. Unsecret Crush says, I mean, it's a normal phone, but it's been blessed or something. We decided it's canon that she is big on werewolf TikTok, which is a special TikTok that only glasswalkers can access. Excuse me, what's a glasswalker? I thought I had a very rough idea of what was going on in this game, but it's clear I have no idea what's happening. Glasswalker is a tribe of werewolf. Okay. Because humans can't know werewolves exist, you see. Yes, of course. So how have you talked about how that works, like technically? Because that sounds complicated to go mixing in like spirit world stuff with technology. Sounds complex. Literally, spirits are involved. Okay. Sheet study. Okay. So let's first try this in the way that I think most players would approach it, which is click on the lampshade while it's light. And then try to click the bulb. You start to grab the bulb, but realize it's very hot. So now you're like, turn off the light. And that's all correct. And we can take the bulb. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Now we can try to turn on the light. There's no bulb in the lamp. One thing I am wondering about a little is, like, maybe someone is like oh, maybe I need to put the bulb back in to do something else in this room before I take it out. That's not true, but a player might think that and try to do it. So I don't know if we should like. I mean, there's a few different approaches we can take with that. One is we let them do it because there's no reason they couldn't. Obviously, the main reason to not do that is because we have to write code for it. The second option is we add code to understand a command like, screw in light bulb or whatever, but then, output something saying there's no reason to do that. I don't think I would take that approach because it's adding code to deal with it, but then like not actually dealing with it. Like if we're writing the code to deal with it, it's easier to just let them do it, I think. Or it makes more sense. And then the other option is just not worry about it at all. Because there's not really any obvious way to do it aside from a parser command. I think I'm going to make a note. Just allow screwing in light bulb and or putting back lampshade. I feel like we'll probably just not worry about that stuff because it's fine. It's not really a big deal, I don't think. I'd go to deal with it, but just have the game say what. That would be pretty funny. Well, good news. Screw in light bulb. What? We're already done. Okay. Let's just make sure we can't do anything weird here. Turn on light. Oh. Oh, no. I thought my code would allow that. Turn on light. Doesn't work. Okay. Turn light on. Okay, that gets understood. There's no bulb in the lamp. Okay, let's close this and just do a little bit more testing in a slightly different way. Oops. Sorry, just catching up on chat. So this time, let's turn the light off. And then take the lampshade off. You remove the lampshade and set it on the ground next to the table. Let's try turning the light on now. That's all good. Let's try taking it. That's correct. Light off. One thing I noticed, I think the light bulb is moving down a pixel or two. I'm taking screenshots. Just so I can compare. This feels like cheating a little bit, but don't tell anybody. It's fine. Oh. What? The whole thing is moving down. Oh no. The whole like post part of the lamp and the bulb is in a different position. It actually looks too high off when it's too high up when it's on. Huh. I don't know how that happened. I spent so much effort making sure it was correct. Rez Mason says Cosmic Ozma also like to give rooms a lit and dark state with a light switch or a lamp that would trigger the change. So this is all very classic of you. Yeah, that's definitely a thing I'm familiar with. I played a lot of Cosmic Osmo. It's a very neat little game. If anyone's not familiar with it, that's from Cyan, which is the company that eventually made Myst. They started out making children's games. And like Myst, Cosmic Osmo, and The Manhole, which came out before it, those were made in HyperCard. And those were monochrome games initially. I know The Manhole eventually got a color version. I can't remember if Cosmic Osmo did. But I prefer the original monochrome art myself. But they're neat little games. Like there's not really a goal in them. At least I don't think so. It's mostly just like places to explore and lots of things you can click on that make an animation happen, or something fun. There's often like little kind of mini puzzles that you can kind of solve, but it's not really like accomplishing a lot. You might find a new room to go to, or one I always loved in Cosmic Osmo is there's like a pile of vegetables that you can make into a little person, and then they will talk to you, and it's just fun. Oh yeah, Rose Mason says Osmo got a weird sequel that was full color, but that was decades later. Yeah, I remember hearing about that very recently, just when I was looking up some stuff about the game. Furkunk says Manhole's got an enhanced edition on Steam, but yeah, the HyperCard version is best. Oh, Furkunk said, I'm pausing here because I looked up the other day how to pronounce Broderbund. Apparently, Broderbund initially within the company was pronounced Bruderbund. But I get the impression that Broderbund was the more common pronunciation, and it has kind of become the accepted pronunciation. I thought that was very interesting. I also learned that like it's written with a slash across the O, which is just like a made up thing. Like I always thought this came from some like other language, but it's not. It's just all made up. They just thought the slash looked cool. Anyways, Furkung says Broderbund, or Bruderbund if you prefer, had a few of their own like that. Spelunks is pretty cool. Yes, a salad doesn't fret when it swims in vinaigrette, but personally, I'm not pleased to be smothered in blue cheese. That line is very much burned into my brain. Unsecret Crush says, didn't we determine that you can just say Broderbund, however, because it's all made up? Yes. Exactly. The Swiss O is real. Like, yeah, like it's a real character, but like in terms of like the company name, they just used it because it looked cool. Like they didn't use it because, it came from another language where that, I guess accent or, whatever you would call that mark on an O would be appropriate. They just thought it looked cooler that way. They thought it, looked like a zero with a slash through it. And just kind of like that little bit of like visual reference, I guess. Okay, so that all works. Off. We can take the bulb. Yeah, so I think we're good now. Obviously, there's a lot of other things to do in here, and the cat disappears when the lights are off. But like I've been saying, eventually we'll add another check to make sure that the cat is not present when you try to turn the light off, and the cat will get mad at you if you try to turn it off while they're still there. Spelunks was also cyan. Okay, I thought so. Spelunks I never played at all. Okay, 746, huh? I probably shouldn't really get started on something else. Is there any other little thing I can do? I'm looking at my notes, and I have a note that says "ham-powered machine?" question mark. We probably won't be able to put a ham-powered machine into our game, but it would be funny. Turn on light. Oh, that's what we can do right now. We can make turn on light work. It should be easy enough. The more I work on this, I'm curious how a more advanced text parser works exactly. Hello, Enchanting Wolf. Welcome. Enchanting Wolf says, wow, this takes me back. I was just thinking last week old Mac classic style interface would be ideal in e-ink. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you've heard of the Playdate. It's a very tiny little... do I have mine here? I don't think I do. I think it's in the other room. But it's a... If you go to play.date, it's a fun little handheld system by Panic, which is a company that makes Mac software and has also published some video games like Untitled Goose Game. But they have a system. It's not an e-ink display, but it is kind of similar. And it's also, it's monochrome, but since it's small, it's like the pixels are real tiny. But it's very much has classic Mac vibes to it, which is really fun. I have often thought how I would love like a device with a modern screen that could run old Mac OS versions, which is probably something you could make, but it would require me to learn a lot of stuff. Had not heard of it. I definitely would recommend checking it out. It's very cool. Okay, so we're going back into our study scene code. Actually, I just remembered I have a button from... I did a few streams. I haven't done any in a while. I would like to do some more at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. But there's a link there. Also, that price might no longer be correct. I think the price may have gone up now. I can't remember when exactly that was happening. But they did. They had to raise it just due to component price increases. So we have. I tried to type "turn on light," which was not quite recognized. So we have light off, and these are all using the contains single equal sign. So you can say turn light off, turn lights off, switch off the lights, turn off the lights. But we don't have anything that matches turn on light. So I think the easiest way to do this is with matching on light and off light. So we can say turn off light, switch off light. Whereas if we matched turn on, maybe the player is trying to turn something else on. Maybe they got their little sweetie and they're trying to turn on the little sweetie. I don't know. Something like that. So I think requiring light, although actually we do have, wait, what? Oh, that's funny. I just had a typo. So I already had turn off, but I had copy and pasted turn off down here and didn't change it to on. So like I was just saying, though, that will catch something else that they might try to turn on, but maybe I shouldn't worry about that. it's really hard to think about all the reasonable possibilities someone might type for just turning on a light. Unsecret Crush said price increase happened in April. It's $199 now. Thank you for clarifying. I'll have to update my message. Can't believe it's almost April already. Oh, I have bad news for you, Hinton. April's gone. April doesn't exist anymore. They removed it entirely. So yeah, I think we'll just leave that now that I fixed the typo. It's fine. Now that I've closed that, maybe we should go ahead and write the code for... Well, no, we won't do that yet. I was going to write code for trying to turn the light off while Brisket, the cat, is still in the room, but I don't think we'll worry about that yet. That will involve adding another variable. And I think it makes more sense to work out how the conversation with Brisket is going to work before I start figuring out what the variables involved are going to be. It's double April. Oh my gosh. I think turning the light off, causing the cat to disappear is actually the most elegant solution. I don't know if I'd agree. All right, I should probably just be done. Once again, I've done a stream. We solved some problems. We got a lot done, but I think there's more things on my to-do list than when we started. That's probably okay. We will finish this eventually. I'm just looking through my list to see if there's anything we could do real quick. But I don't think there is. There's, at this point in our game, there's very few simple things that we could do. Why does it get so much harder the further along you get? I know a lot of it is because I'm putting more effort into it now than I was initially. I guess ultimately a lot of the things I decided to do early on were kind of complex, and I started out doing all the simple stuff. So now we're finally getting into the more complex stuff that I decided to do a long time ago. And it just keeps building up. All right. I think we're done, but let's go through our game a little bit. So we got our schedule we can look at. These locations all need to be updated, and we have a whole puzzle to put in there. At least the bus stop is looking nice. Get our soup bone. Have we come full circle with Brisket running away in the dark? No, that doesn't happen. Brisket won't let you turn the light off. Have a bone, FIFO. Oh no. Does he kill you if you try? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I haven't fully committed to it yet. I kind of think Brisket is very quick to murder anyone that upsets them or disturbs them too much. Let's save. and do a death scene here. Game over. I keep hearing my stream from the other room because Unsecret Crush is watching. Hopefully that's not getting picked up by the mics too much. It's okay, it's fine. I'm not that worried about it. All right, normal guy's gone. Let's go in the house. I'm not explaining what I'm doing, just because I want to show some of this. But like, if anyone is going to eventually play this, hopefully y'all will have forgotten how to solve the puzzles by then. But I figure if I'm not explaining everything I'm doing the whole time, then maybe you'll be less likely to notice exactly what I'm doing. I do feel like since I made a bunch of microphone adjustments recently. Basically, I realized that the mic was often clipping, but it took me a while to recognize it as clipping, because it wasn't the super bad type of clipping I'm most familiar with. Basically, I had the gain on the mic turned up too much, so it was just kind of like my voice would sound a little bit crunchy if I talked too loudly. But I eventually spent a lot of time to improve things, and I think we should get a little bit less background noise than we used to. Okay. I think I'm anxious to get more into the Little Sweetie UI, so I think that's probably what we'll do on Friday. I'm really excited to design the email UI and get that all functioning finally. Unsecret Crush said, if the kitchen noises don't get picked up anymore, I will be so happy. Did anyone hear the cabinet? Thank you for the loot. Let's do another save and get our other death scene. Excuse me. The cat claw graphic, like, it could definitely be better, but I love it exactly how it is. It turned out great, I think. Okay. Let's... Bulb too hot. I was like, there's health in this game, like status. So this is, we have a couple things. Oh yeah, we also have resting. So all of this is stuff that's handled by the game automatically. The inventory list is also something that's automatic. But that's a little less weird in the context of our game. But the status thing, like, we have experience, which is 0. We have wealth. I think our experience would only go up if we put in, like, monsters. We have wealth, which is just kind of determined by the very arbitrary slider for the value of the objects we are currently holding. And then there's also physical condition and spiritual condition. And when I was writing the text to touch the light bulb while it's hot, I was like, it'd be funny if this actually damaged you a little bit. But I don't know if that's actually gonna, like, ever come up. Maybe that makes it funnier. I don't know. I do think that at some point we might want to, like, kind of intercept the status command and do our own output for that. I think we have to have some response to the status command. Otherwise, it'll just, like, the game will handle it automatically. I guess if we didn't want it to do anything, we could just say, have the have our code output what if you type status. Thank you for the UG hinton. Sorry, that was me closing a cabinet. But yeah, I was thinking that the status we could do something custom that is like a little more appropriate for our game, and I don't know, maybe just kind of tell you a little bit about the player or something. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do that. And then rest is another thing. We can customize this menu, but you could also type the commands in the menu. So we want to handle them somehow, even if we take them out of the menu. Anyway, let's see. Turn off light. Turn on light. So this is the command that didn't work before, and that's fine now. Oh, I didn't fix the position of the post. Why is that wrong? I swear this isn't where I put it. It looks wrong. Anyways, turn light off. Take bulb. Okay. So let's fix that, and then I'm actually done. So that's here. And then in our objects list, we have the dark version. Yeah, I really don't understand how this happened. I'm also wondering if the lampshade is misaligned as well. But like, I feel like this is a little bit like the bottom of it is not centered in the top of the base area. Oh no. So that's right now. Now the light bulb is off. That's the wrong light bulb. This one. I think Unsecret Crush is eating without me now, which is totally fair. Lampshade on. So I kind of think that still like doesn't line up with the dark states. I honestly think the dark state is down further. Yeah, it's 2 pixels down further. Jeez. Okay, that should be correct. Let's copy this. And then this one is a little bit trickier, but not too bad. Just delete that bulb and bring the shade to the front. Okay, now let's see if the lampshade lines up everywhere. Lampshade on. That looks right. Send it back. Yep. Bring to front. Delete. Okay. Is that everything? that. Okay, so that looks good. I like the way that's aligned. Light off. I think that's the same. I'm gonna take screenshots. Just because it's easier for me to, like, if I can flip back and forth quickly, it's really easy to check if anything is off. Honestly, it's with the post, the alignment of the post is a little bit hard to tell, but I think it looks okay. So let's move this off. Turn the light off. I think that's good. Yeah, much better. Okay. And then take the light bulb. And then we can no longer turn the light on. Great. Okay. It's all done. We did it. No. We're shutting down. Thank you all for hanging out on this Sunday afternoon, evening, or perhaps Monday where you are. I appreciate you all being here. So my schedule on Tuesday, I am continuing Mystery House by Roberta Williams, her very first game. I kind of think we got about halfway through last week, so we'll probably manage to finish up this week. I'm really excited where the game is going to go at this point. I won't talk about where I'm at in case anyone doesn't want any spoilers about that game, but I think we're only like halfway through, but given what has happened so far, I don't really know what to expect next. I had my oven on the wrong setting, ripped my lunch. Oh no, Hinton, I'm sorry. On Friday, we will continue our World Builder game. And like I was saying earlier, I think I want to start on the Little Sweetie email interface, which I'm super excited about. So we'll have a little interface where you can flip through different messages you've received. We'll also have to figure out how you connect to Wi-Fi on the device, and lots of fun little things to work out. I'm also I want to make it a fun interface, so that'll be an interesting thing to think about. How do we make it fun? We might put a little mascot in it or something. I was kind of thinking about having a mascot that's a little bit like Clippy or something like that. You know, a thing. I just thought about, we have this device that's designed for doing email. It doesn't have a keyboard. How would you actually... It's hilarious that we never thought of this before. Maybe it can only receive email. I don't know. Maybe you can only select from canned responses that are programmed into the little mascot. That would be both funny and solve a problem. So maybe. It says, I thought the lack of keyboard actually improved email, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Not enough oven. I ove the cold food in, but regrets occur. Oh no. At least that's better than the other way around, right? You don't want to oven the food too much. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, this is a tough choice. Oh no, it got harder. The choice keeps getting harder the more I scroll down. Let's say hello to Tuigia, who's playing a game called Ripper, which I'm not familiar with. I kind of think it's like a FMV game. I know I've heard of it, but I definitely never played it, and I don't know much about it. Colin says, "Oh boy, Ripper." Yeah, I can't wait to learn more about it. I'm sure it'll be great. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you around. Bye.